Hey there, it's Chris from Good Roads. Today we're back down on Little Pine, the first run in my backyard trail system, and I wanted to address something towards the bottom of the run that I see as a bit of an issue. At the end of the trail, you need to make a right turn that's almost 90 degrees, and as it stands, that right turn happens to be at one of the steepest points in the trail, and the slope is kind of graded in the wrong direction, so what ends up happening is this. You wash out and you lose all your speed. So in order to keep traction and speed through that turn, I'm going to build me a big old berm. The first step was to flag out the shape of the berm. This will help me make sure the turn is smooth with a gradual radius. This is a green run, so I don't want anyone to have to work or think too hard at any point. We're looking for a nice, mellow turn. I like to take a quick jog through features I'm working on because it gives me a sense of what it might feel like to move through them with speed. Imagining the feature and what it would be like to ride it helps me adjust and fine-tune my plans. One of my goals for this trails project is for it to blend with the natural beauty of the forest. I want the space to look good, and maybe to even look like something that grew out of the ground. To that end, I used moss-covered logs to retain the soil for the berm. I grabbed a bunch from around the property and started moving them into place, making the shape of the turn. Once the first set of logs were where I wanted them, I needed to make sure they stayed there, and to do that, I needed some stakes. I found some stout branches and got to work making a small pile. I used a pickaxe to dig small holes behind the logs, then drove the stakes into place. With a bit of retaining wall to hold dirt in place, it was time to get digging. But no matter how I tried, I just couldn't seem to move a good amount of soil with the spade, so I switched over to the pickaxe, using both sides to break up the ground, and I quickly discovered the nature of my problem. This is, by far, the rockiest soil I have ever dug. My honest, non-exaggerated estimate is that the dirt here in our part of the Catskills is about 50% rock. Well, now I understand why all my neighbors have backhoes, but I've got picks and shovels, so picks and shovels it is. I do a first pass with a pickaxe, breaking up the dirt, then I transfer that loose soil with a shovel, and finally come in for a last pass with the rake to redistribute the dirt and pull out any offending rocks and roots. But that's not enough of a berm to have fun with, not nearly enough. It was time for a second layer, and now that we had some dirt in place, I could add the rest of the logs for the retaining wall. Then it was back to more digging. and more raking. I wanted to do some packing at this point, both to start to firm everything up and to get a sense of how much dirt still needed to get moved. So I grabbed the groomer and ran over the loose soil until it was packed down flat. Yeah, there was still a lot of dirt here that needed to go there. So grab your tools, boys and girls. It's time for more picking. Raking. And shoveling. Rinse and repeat. After a while, things started getting exciting. I could start to see what would eventually be a rideable feature. I did some fine shaping with the rake, then it was time to do more packing. I wasn't comfortable driving the tractor on the outer edge of the berm, so I stomped that dirt down and then packed it in with a shovel. And of course, I found one last rock at the transition out of the berm, so I pried that bad boy up and set it aside. I finished shaping the entry and exit of the berm and then grabbed the groomer for a final pack-in. I decided to use the rocks I dug up to line the uphill side of the berm. I figure it might help with drainage, but is mostly for aesthetics. A true monument to how much of a pain this dig was. And there it is! The only thing left was to go through and clip any roots sticking up, and then it was time to ride. First, a quick test run to get a feel for the turn. Then from a little higher up the hill. Then let's take it from the top. And it works great. You can keep your traction, you can carry your speed, you can make really fun, tight, zippy turns right into a bush pile, for now. But don't worry, I've got plans for where this trail will take us. There you have it. At 8 feet wide and almost 35 feet long, this is easily the biggest feature I've built by hand. After fighting rocks and roots every step of the way, I have a super fun berm to ride, and it feels like a real accomplishment. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me as I built this feature. If you did, and you'd like to see more, you can always subscribe. There's more trail building to come, along with a ton of other DIY board projects here on the channel. And if you've got any tips for digging in rocky soil, leave a comment below. I could use all the help I can get. Seriously. Help. And that's gonna be it for this one. Until the next time, I'll see you soon.